so cold.
Oh, it's so chilly.
It's so chilly. It's not the fall anymore. It's the winter.
Except for today, because as it happens, we're recording this on the warmest day of the winter.
Yeah, today is, for some reason, record highs.
It's fucking 60 degrees out. Winter, what are you doing?
Yeah, this isn't how that works.
This isn't how that works. But regardless...
But you know what? It works? Us. We're working overtime today. We got a lot of shit to talk about.
You ever want to see two dudes speed run too much seasonal anime in one episode? Well, stay tuned and buckle your fucking seatbelts, kiddos.
Yeah, because you're going to need it this time.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Protagonist seat. I'm Alex. That's Ian.
We talk about seasonal anime on the show. If you're just joining us for this season, yokozo.
Welcome.
Because this is the winter season of 2020.
Yep, if you're new here, we talk about 10 shows every season. Usually 10 new shows. This season we got 2 leftovers from the previous one, so 8 new shows.
Yes, sometimes we have a couple more, sometimes we have almost none.
Yep, the 2 ones that are staying with us are Fate Grand Order and Welcome to Demon High School, Iruma-kun.
And naturally, we'll be getting those out of the way first.
Yeah.
So if you are joining us, feel free to take a look back at our previous season to get up to date on these 2 shows, or just watch them.
Yeah, or if you don't care, just skip ahead.
Or just skip ahead.
Yep, so we're going to knock those out of the park first.
Fatal Grand Order, Absolute Babylonia Demon Units.
Absolute Demonic Front, Babylonia.
Close enough.
You were close.
I only played the mobile game and have been watching this for 13 episodes.
Yeah, so we talk about the mobile game a lot, even if we're not talking about Absolute Demonic Front.
Yeah, we'll just talk about any casual events that are coming up in FGO. So if you like FGO, fucking stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about the show right now, and if we left off last time...
Yeah, well, there's 2 episodes we're talking about. So in the first episode, King Gilgamesh is dead.
He is dead. He wakes up dead, and everyone else wakes up to find him dead.
Yep, worked himself to death, so they have to go to the underworld to get him back.
So naturally, they send Ishtar, Mash, and Fujimaru down to the underworld.
Yeah, they leave Merlin behind in case they need to, negotiate, and they fail to defeat Ereshkigal.
And they also leave the other 2 behind because fuck them.
Yeah, just fuck them.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
So as they head down into the underworld, it turns out the underworld is actually physically the underworld. Like, Ishtar just blows a big hole in the ground and they just get there that way.
Yeah, it is a physical place because this is the Age of Gods. So heaven and the underworld are literally in the same plane of reality as the physical realm.
Yeah. So they go to the underworld, and there's a bunch of gates, and it becomes, whose goddess is it anyway? And,
basically, Ereshkigal is quizzing Fujimaru on who she
is
likes
more
better.
Attractive, Ishtar or Ereshkigal?
You know what? I gotta say Ereshkigal. Mostly because I like her outfit better.
She does have a better... I don't know, because,
I don't think Ishtar's outfit counts as an outfit. I don't think there's enough of it there.
That's the thing about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like a little bit to be left to imagination.
It's a big debate, and we're not going to get into that here. We don't have time to debate this.
We literally don't have time.
We need a whole other podcast to debate this.
So tune in for our Ishtar podcast next week. So basically, they go through 7 gates of that, and Ishtar gradually gets smaller every time.
And Gilgamesh finally appears because he was essentially lying in wait, and he picks up tiny Ishtar, and he's like, "Hey, did you decide to have your form match your usefulness?"
He comes out just bellowing laughter out of a random alcove in the darkness, and he's like, "I was watching the entire time and waiting for the perfect moment." And you know what? I love Gil. Gil is great.
Yeah.
So with their new soul in hand, they decide that since they can't just leave the underworld like most people do, they
they're
have to
go
confront
ask her. And they're worried about having to fight her, but Ritsuka thinks, maybe we won't have to fight her.
She's good. She's been visiting me in my sleepier times. It'll be fine. And then they fight her.
Yeah, except it's not really her. It's like a giant skeleton.
It's the model that they used because they didn't have an Ereshkigal model at the time in the game, so they're like, fuck it.
Yeah, she's not coming out for another year.
We need to show more of the enemy variety in this anime, so we're going to give you this one.
They fight a giant skeleton in the next episode.
Yeah, and then they fight the skeleton. And then they beat the skeleton, because they have Gilgamesh on their side, and he's pretty powerful.
And they convince Ereshkigal to let them return to the surface and leave the Goddess Alliance.
Yeah, it's the whole, like, hey, listen, we know you're doing that just to protect humanity and not because you're a little shitter like the rest of the Goddess Alliance. And they're like,
to be honest, no one besides Gorgon is a shitter for in the Goddess Alliance.
Quetzalcoatl is just like, whatever, fuck it. I'll fight some people, whatever, it'll be fine.
And everybody that she beat, she just recruited after.
Yeah, hey, it's the classic anime trope. I beat you, and now you join my party.
Yeah.
So they beat Ereshkigal, and then she joins the party.
Yeah, but she can't leave Kerr, so she just kind of, like, joins them in spirit.
Hey, I'll be rooting for you guys, but at the last moment I'll come in with some cool shit. And they're like, cool, thanks. And then Grandpa Death comes behind her and cuts her in half, i.e. severs her bond to the Alliance, and then everything's fine.
Yeah.
And then everyone goes home.
And everything's all good, and then we'll get back to that next time. Welcome to Demon School, Aruma-kun.
Yeah! It's time for the the Battler Party.
Yep,
We're going to battle party.
First episode, they did have a sleepover at the school to get everything ready, because Aruma realizes, like, what's something only our club can do? Fireworks!
Something that only I, as a human, would know. So they decide...
And they're all like, what's fireworks? And then he goes to Amari-san, the student council president, to borrow one of the manga.
And she is super excited because she thinks that he is going to read it to her again.
But
and
then,
he's like, no.
But then when she doesn't want to give it to him, but he's like, oh, we were going to make fireworks. And she's like, wait a second. He was going to make those fire flowers in the sky?
I want to see fireworks.
Well, I am really tired today, so I'm just going to forget to take this with me. So if you, if this was probably back by tomorrow, I probably wouldn't notice.
And then he does that.
Yeah.
And then they have sleepover fun times whilst developing fireworks.
Yeah, and
which
they
is
all
not
have pillow fights, have fun hanging out with each other.
It's not a safe thing to do at school, guys.
And you find out that this guy's parental figure or guardian is his senpai.
Yeah,
like,
it's his...
The club president.
Yeah, and it turns out that he is one of the members of the, what is it?
Like
the 13 or something like that?
Who are at like the 665th floor of
Yeah.
like the government tower.
The Hell Tower. And guess who's residing at the 666th floor? The Big Three.
Yeah, which we've already gone over that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, so turns out he's working with this guy, and this guy that he's working for really wants to remove Sullivan and destroy the school.
So, Welcome to Demon School, Aruma-kun quickly becomes a domestic terrorism thriller.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So this guy, when he takes off the glasses, you can see he's like, oh no, that'd be really bad. It'd be a lot of casualties. And he's like, yeah, that's good. We want more casualties. And he's like, okay.
So they go about developing their plan off-screen.
Yeah, and then Aruma, the next episode, goes to find him, and he finds his secret lair area.
Luckily, he's got a ring that magically tracks, or I shouldn't say tracks, but it carries Iruma to the guy he's looking for.
And so his senpai is there, and he's like, whoa, you scared me. What are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I was looking for you, and my ring just kind of pulled me here. He's like, what is this place? He's like, oh, this is my secret hangout.
It's a secret place that only me and the previous members know about. It's the graveyard of forgotten tools.
Yeah, so
basically any dangerous shit they had, they stowed away in this room in secret.
Mm-hmm. And turns out this is where probably he's going to do... It has the perfect view for where all the students are going to be, so this is probably where he's going to launch his bomb from.
Yeah, so we get to...
But of course, Aruma has no idea, and he's like, wow, this is really great. Yeah, we're all going to have a great time together. We're going to go up ranks, and it's going to be wonderful.
I feel bad. But Iruma just keeps doing the friend thing. And we actually, I like how they did it, because we reach a natural moment, or a natural feeling moment, where Iruma kind of puts a little bit of thoughts of doubts in Kiriwo. Amy. He puts some doubts into Amy in a natural fashion by just being his friend and just being a friendly kid. And we'll see how that develops next week.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to go for it or not. I'm assuming not, because I don't think they're going to do that.
He's going to domestically terrorize the school and blow up the main characters?
Come on. This is hell. It's not America.
Exactly. Hell has standards.
Yeah, they're not going to blow up the school.
That's just unreasonable.
So,
on to the new shit.
New stuff. New season. It only took us 10 minutes to get here. That's not bad time.
Yeah, that's pretty good for us.
So, one of the first new shows we are watching, Darwin's Game.
Darwin's Game.
Gonna have to blow through this one, too, because holy shit, the first episode was like
First episode was an hour, and there's 2 episodes.
Yeah. But, thankfully, most of it was just running around, the first one.
Yeah. So basically, we smash cut. There's a dude running around from an invisible person, and he's like, I don't know, and he shoots some,
He shoots one of those, like, game invite things to, like, where it's like, invite your friends to play, and you just, like, put in there, like...
Call for help. I can't call this person, because he knows too much, so I'll call my other friend.
Yeah.
And,
but he dies anyway to the invisible man.
Thinking about this is not a very well thought out plan, because he has to send it to his friend in the middle of the night. His friend has to join the game, and then his friend has to go find him and help him, which is not something you do when you're backed into a corner.
No.
And turns out he doesn't even see it till the next day anyway. But his friend's already dead at that point, killed by an invisible man in a panda suit with a knife.
Yep, so... The next day, he's at school, and he's like, whoa, he's like, one friend comes in, he's like, hey, have you seen so-and-so? And he's like, nah, but he sent me a message last night, this weird app.
And his buddy freaks his shit. He's like, don't open that app.
And it's too late, he presses it, and he has a hallucination of a snake coming out, biting him on the neck.
And then he passes out and wakes up in the medical room.
And he's like...
Nurse's office.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, the nurse's office. So then he's like, I feel really bad. Can I just go home today? And she's like, sure, just fill out this paperwork. And then he's about to head home, and his friends are hanging out there. And he's like, listen, whatever you do, go straight home. I'll explain it tonight. And he's like, okay. And then his other friend's like,
buddy's
you
like,
want to go karaoke? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Whatever. Let's go to karaoke. So they do that. And then on the train home, he gets a weird notification on his phone. It's a battle request. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck that is, so I guess I'll just accept it. And then suddenly it's just him and a man in a panda suit on the train together.
And then the man in the panda suit tries to murder him with like a little machete-like thing.
It's a big knife.
Yeah, he has a big knife.
He has a large knife. So there's a lot of running around from this point.
Yep.
And eventually his buddy that told him not to download the game, like a total idiot, comes and find him.
Yeah, and he helps him out by shooting the invisible man with a crossbow. Because turns out everyone has things called sigils. The invisible man can turn himself invisible. Everyone just has a random power they can
use. Everyone gets a weird random power.
You know when you go to like that wiki of like powers and you just like hit the randomize thing and it gives you a superpower? That's this.
That's what this does.
Yeah, so his friend has the ability. He's like, man, my First of all, okay, his friend dies trying to protect him throughout all of this.
Yeah.
But his friend's power is the hard counter for invisibility. He's like, if only my power wasn't useless. I'm like, bruh, you lost to the person you hard counter. It's like, what's my power? You hard counter invisibility.
Yeah, it's...
How do you lose to the invisible man?
Because he's incompetent. He's very incompetent.
Like, yeah, it's like a very not great power compared to some of the other ones we've seen, but like still... You lost against your hard counter.
He literally counters the one person he should be able to beat, he loses against.
Yeah, you have a thing that just negates the other guy's power.
Whatever, plot stuff. But then the Panda Man gets hit by a car.
Yeah, right before he kills the main character, he gets hit by a car, and I guess that does enough to like kill him essentially.
Yeah, he was already doing a little rough because he had been hit by a bunch of crossbow bolts, but like...
And then after that, we notice, he doesn't just, like, die. He starts getting deleted by, like, squares almost.
Yes.
Just, like parts of him just disappearing all on their own.
Yeah.
And he's like, what is Darwin's Game? And he's like, it's the greatest high ever, kid. Hope you enjoy it.
Because no one is telling this poor bastard what this fucking game is, besides people just running around trying to kill each other.
To be honest, though, I feel like I would clue into this real fast, like, oh, death game.
Yeah, Well, we've watched a lot of these, so we know. This guy probably hasn't, I'm assuming. So he gets some texts from another girl who's just kind of out and about.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, a newbie just won. I'll send him a friend request.
Hey, come find me at this place and we'll have a chat.
And he's all sad because he found out his friend died. And then there's a gacha system in the game.
He gets a gun.
Yeah, it sends him a gun, like...
Congrats, you rolled SSR, gun.
Just, boom, pops up at his door.
That's the best delivery system I've ever seen. So now he has a gun, except he doesn't bring it to his meeting. He goes and buys a super strong flashlight and a stun gun.
Yep, so the girl wants to meet him at this abandoned warehouse.
We get a lot of cagey non-answers and, like, mental sort of maneuvering from these two people.
Mostly she's like, all right, I will only trust you if you tell me... First she tells him, yeah, there's no way out of the game. Secondly, I don't know if I can trust you, so tell me what your sigil is. And he's like, I don't know what that is. And she's
I don't know what that is, and I don't know what mine is.
And she's like, everyone knows what their sigil is. It's, like, as easy as breathing.
Oh.
And it's clearly hers is that she's able to control chains, because that's her thing.
She controls these weird, like, blade things on chains. He is like, I don't know what that is. And she's like, all right, then we'll do another one. Show me you don't have any weapons. And he's like, fuck, I can't do that one either. So they fight, because of course they have to fight. But he doesn't necessarily want to kill anybody, so he runs around and she's shooting at him with chains.
Because he blinds her at first with a flashlight to get away. And
then she shuts the lights off. Or no, she turns the lights on.
Yeah, so now it doesn't matter, and she basically just chases him around, and he realizes that he's going to die, and then his inner voice kind of, like, cheers him on, where it's like, come on, you're gonna give up?
Yeah, he has a moment where he's like, shit, this woman's gonna kill me, and his voice is like, fuck that, dude.
And then he figures out that his sigil is that he can just make things. He has crafting.
He can materialize things in his hands.
So he makes a gun and shoots at her.
And... naturally, this puts her off a little bit. She's like, shit. So while she's taking cover, he sets up an elaborate trap where basically he has a gun duct taped to a pole and he has a string tied to the trigger. So he just kind of keeps shooting to draw her attention.
Yep, and then when she goes over there, he gets the jump on her.
Because he shoots the power to the lights.
But he still doesn't kill her. He just gets her to surrender.
He doesn't do that. This guy doesn't kill people in this death game.
And she is inspired by that, so she agrees to surrender. And at first he was wondering if she was going to die, but she's like, oh, you mean like total point loss?
No, I don't do that.
I got a shit ton of points. I can lose like a good number of times.
And you know what? Turns out she can, because she's the undefeatable girl.
Yeah, now everyone's focused on him. We see there's some hacker girl that's like, wow, he beat the undefeated queen.
Yeah, whoa, what the fuck?
And in the next episode, he wakes up and she is naked and asleep on top of him, and they're in like a big fancy like hotel room or apartment.
And then everything is explained one at a time, and things that are still not totally reasonable, but she makes us believe that they're reasonable.
She essentially wants to form a clan with him, which is like a guild.
And then she tells him she won't because he's too low level.
Yeah, so he's got to
level. And he's got to take the initiative on this thing.
Yeah, he's the guy, so he's got.
Guys got because you know what, guys, we got to have the crazy love interest.
But she decides that she likes him, so they're gonna go around do stuff together because they got invited to some event that's gonna happen in Shibuya.
It's a treasure hunt. So they go around on their date and they do date things, and
then a guy shows up out of nowhere, swipes his phone, and is like, "Hey,
follow me, or I'm gonna break your shit." So he does. And this dude follows him into an alleyway.
And then he's like, hey, yeah, so he's like, wait, if this guy has my phone, does that mean he can, like, start up a duel with somebody? He's like, nah, you can't use someone else's phone, but, you know, if you didn't have your phone, you would have no idea when you're being attacked, so it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, no idea when you're being attacked, no being able to track people with the maps, kind of fucked.
And then dude decides to challenge him to a thing, and
they fight.
Yeah, he starts... I guess he's a boxer, because he starts, like, punching the shit out of him.
He beats the shit out of our main character.
But the main character gets the jump on him and steals his phone, and he's like, hey, didn't you tell me to be careful with my phone? And he holds up the stun gun to the phone, which he's like, I'll fry it if you do anything else.
And then love interest also shows up and is like, hey, don't do that or I'll kill you.
And he's like, so you guys are working together.
Not officially.
I want to go up against some really strong people. because everyone's insane in this death game.
But not right now, because you guys have me bent over a barrel.
And then he ends up surrendering, and then they kind of like just stand around and shoot the shit. Like they're not even like really that mad at each other.
Whatever, it just happens.
And they're talking about like the treasure hunt. It's like, I wonder if it's gonna be like, it's probably not like a battle royale thing.
It's like people talking about a new upcoming event in a mobile game.
Yeah.
Which is weird because this is a mobile death game.
And so they're all hanging out, and then the timer goes off, and they all get surrounded by the squares, and he's worried that he's going to die, but they're like, no, they're just going to teleport you.
This just happens. And just in case we don't get together, then, just find me quick as a slick Mick.
And it looks like they're all teleported to some hotel, and they're all in, like, different rooms and areas of the hotel. And it's
information broker girl included.
She gets teleported. She's like, good thing I grabbed my sniper rifle.
Good thing I grabbed this on impulse.
And while they're all on top of the there's the bad guy we saw scenes of earlier on top of a building.
He just shows up and is like, I'm evil. Let's kill people and do evil man things.
Apparently there's a couple of rings where everyone needs to collect rings, and information girl's like, well, there's clearly not enough for everybody.
Because 300 people are part of this event.
And if you don't, they don't specifically say it, but they say you get punished or something.
It's game over for people who don't collect 3 rings.
So, yeah, essentially it basically is a battle royale.
Yeah. It's just over an objective.
And the dude on the roof, some girl comes out and she's just like, that guy's Wang. He's really strong.
That's his name. She wasn't commenting on his manhood.
No, she's like, that's Wang. I can take him out right now. And she goes up to him and she's like, my powers are fire, so I can burn you at like 400 degrees Celsius. And she's like, I'll kill you quickly. And then, oh no!
And then it doesn't work, and he throws her off a roof.
I'm a genius. Oh no!
Oh no!
And she dies.
She dies, and now there's only 299 people left.
And we get to start the whole battle royale next week.
Yeah. There will be a lot of killing.
It's stupid, but it's fun.
This show is unexpectedly fun. You've done well, Darwin's Game. Keep doing well.
Toilet bound hanako-kun.
What happens when you have a ghost that's bound to a toilet but also grants wishes?
I don't know. That's oddly specific.
You get this show.
So in this show, we get a girl. I'm just going to call her Radish Legs right now because I don't remember her name.
Me neither.
She's got stumpy radish legs, and she's really in love with this guy. Well, she says she's in love with this guy, and she is willing to go summon a ghost for help because she heard about one of the wonders of the school is a ghost in the girls' bathroom.
And he grants wishes. Well,
first, they think it's a she.
Yeah. And when it's a boy that shows up, she's like, well, you're just a pervert.
And he's like, never mind, I'm going to leave.
All right, bye, see ya.
And she's like, no, can you help me? He's like, sure. All right, here you are. And then he hands her like a book on like dating advice.
Because everything comes with a price.
Yeah.
So get the mundane shit out of the way first.
And she's like, wait, I thought you have like magic powers. He's like, I do, but like, there's like a price for that, so you might as well just take this. This is a lot easier and safer.
Yeah. And so they start going around trying all this stuff.
He basically has her try like basic like stuff like, hey, maybe, you grow stuff in the garden, give him like some of that.
Give him some flowers.
Instead she grows like vegetables, so instead like she leaves them on the guy's desk like a bunch of tomatoes and like zucchini.
She leaves vegetables with a note that says thanks for the other day on his desk. She makes him a bento lunch, which is horrifying to look at. Because Hanako was like, hey, make sure it's got cute characters in it.
My favorite part is when he's like, all right, so you know what always works? Just run at him and with a piece of toast in your mouth and run into him. And she's like, are you sure that'll work? He's like, trust me. And then we don't see it. We just hear her run around the corner and everyone's like, oh my God. Oh, like, she just took out Renji-kun.
It's one of those moments where he's like, go now. And she blitzes and he's like, is what I'll say when I want you to go.
And she like hits some other dude, knocks him down the stairs, and apparently really hurts him.
Someone call an ambulance. Oh my God. This show is pretty funny.
Yeah, and so she's getting fed up that none of it's working, and she kind of mentions how, like, the reason she wants this so bad is that she was in love with some other guy, and he told her she had daikon legs, like radish legs.
She's got chonky radish legs. And also she never endeavored to talk to him ever, so he didn't know who she was.
Yeah, so that's why, so Hanako-kun is like, so basically anyone will do. Yeah. You don't care who it is. And she's like, that's not true.
That's not true, but it's kind of true.
And then she finds his mermaid scales that he keeps in a little sack, and he's like, hey, you can't use those. And he's like, give that back. And she shoves it in her mouth, and she's like, tell me what it is or I'll swallow it.
Yeah, fine, they're mermaid scales.
But if you swallow one, or they connect you with another person for life. But if you swallow,
be cursed.
And she swallows it instantly.
Fuck. So she goes out and is gonna give this dude a freaking mermaid scale.
And she sees him. Another girl is confessing to him, and he says that he likes someone else.
And she's like, oh. And she backs down pretty hard.
She gets all sad, and then all of a sudden she notices her arm is getting all scaly.
And she turns into a fish.
Yep, but Hanako goes and picks her up and puts her in a fish tank, and he explains her situation that someone needs to eat the other one, or else you're essentially like
it reduces the curse.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, she didn't do that.
Yeah, she didn't have him eat the other scale, so she is stuck as a fish.
And then the mermaid shows up.
Yeah,
it is a fish with a lady face
to take it as her servant, and so she's all freaked out, but then Hanako jumps in and he's just like,
he's got a knife.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I'm currently in the process of granting this girl's wish, so...
Can you come back later?
Yeah, so he beats the mermaid, and the mermaid goes back. He's like, well, she'll probably be back soon, but I know a way I can at least, get you back to your human form, but it'll cost you.
And she's like, what? And he says, your body.
And he eats one of the scales.
It turns out he just wanted
manual
a human
labor
helper.
Yeah. And then she turns back into her human form, and she gets angry, and she pushes him, which she realizes now she can touch him.
He's not fully incorporeal to her.
Yeah, because they now share a bond because of the mermaid scale.
They share a bond.
They share a bond.
So yeah, she's going to be his assistant from now on.
Yeah, and I really like the art direction of this show. It looks really nice.
It's very interesting. Everything is very pretty. Everything carries good weight.
Hatena illusion.
Guys, do you like magic? Because Makoto likes magic.
Yeah, we got a mix of fake magic and real magic.
I don't know what's fake magic and I don't know what's real magic, but fuck it, whatever.
So there's this girl who lives in this mansion with her family. Her mom and dad are professional magicians.
And they're very wealthy.
And her childhood friend is going to be staying with them, who she is under the impression Makoto is a girl.
Because
it's a unisex name.
Yeah.
So...
And Makoto wants to learn magic from her father.
Yeah, so she shows up. So Makoto shows up, and he's like, yes, master, I'm really ready to learn under you. And he's all excited, and she's just like, wow, Makoto, I see that you're, like, really going for the boyish look.
You're so rugged.
And then after her maid's like, excuse me, my lady, Makoto is a boy.
No, that's ridiculous. She couldn't possibly be a boy. Stop funning.
And she's like, Dad, did you know Makoto was a boy, turned into a boy? And he's like, sweetie, he was born a boy.
Makoto was always a boy. And I guess this is absolutely groundbreakingly unacceptable news to her because she is not okay with it.
Because she doesn't want him to even say her name, which is Hatena.
Yeah.
She's like, just... Because at first she was like, oh, we're good friends. You can just call me Hatena. And then after, no, we're not good friends anymore. You're a boy.
No boy will speak my true name.
But he actually hits it off with the little sister.
He does a little bit of cool magic using his wand, and you know what? She's down with it.
Yeah. And then he ends up living in the attic, and he breaks something. So
he breaks an artifact.
The maid suggests that he works as a temporary butler for his stay.
Because he's very good at cleaning, and she wants to make use of that.
And he's fine with that. He's fine with, like, earning his keep.
And then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna brief you on all this shit." Hatena, no, what is it? Kana?
Her name is Kana Hatena.
Yeah, Kana, go take Makoto around the city, show him around a lot, so he doesn't get lost anymore. And she's like, "I'm not gonna do that. What do you mean?" Turns out she's just not as busy as everyone else.
Yeah, so she shows him around, and like little kid's like, "Are you on a date?"
And the maid is also plotting behind their backs to get them together, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
But they encounter a kid that Makoto helped earlier with some magic, and by helped I mean made feel a little bit better.
Yeah, and then they go back, and the younger sister actually asked if she can see Makoto's wand, And then she realizes after she has a conversation in her sister with Private, she's like, yep, there's no doubt about it. That's one of Mother's artifacts.
Smells like Mom.
And then Hatena's like, well, we have to get it back from him. And she's like, but Mom only trusts artifacts with people she like thinks are good people.
Good people.
So,
and literally everyone is like, I don't think that's a good idea. But Hatena's like, nope.
I'm going to steal it.
This is what I'm doing now.
And I guess she's like, she has like a magic girl transformation. I guess she has like a magic thief form.
She is a thief magical girl.
Yep. So she's going to try to steal it next episode.
Yeah. So
we're
we'll
probably
see how
going to
that
realize
goes.
he has some special power or something.
I mean, it might just be the wand.
Maybe.
He might just use the wand as do real magic. But also, Mom is missing. We'll state that now.
Yeah.
Mom is missing.
Mom is missing, and Dad has left overseas for a month.
By literally flying just off into the distance. Somalia and the Forest Pirates.
Somalia and the Forest Spirit. We have talked about this episode before, because currently it's just the first episode. If you saw our anime New York City premiere,
then this is 2 shows on this list, actually, are ones that we talked about in our Anime New York City video, this and Inspector.
Yep, but to go over it again, essentially we have a golem who is raising a human girl trying to get her to her family.
Yes, they are on a big walking around quest to find more humans, and the show is fucking pretty.
Yeah, it's a beautiful environment, really like high fantasy.
It is super high fantasy. I think literally every background extra looks different. Everyone has a unique design to them, which is nice.
In this world, there really aren't that many humans, so it's all populated by other mystical races.
There used to be, but then the humans and the humans and the other beings met. The humans did their human thing and decided to attack them, and then the other beings just stomped the shit out of them because they are much stronger.
Yeah. And he has Somali who's kind of wear a little hood with horns so people don't know she's a human to protect her.
She's a minotaur.
Yeah, just to keep keep that under wraps.
Yeah, because they eat humans.
Yeah,
so
even in this episode, there's a creature that almost sort of like figures out that she's human before her dad shows up.
Yeah, because he is negotiating the prices to sell some gemps, and the theme of this episode is Somali gets fucking distracted by everything.
Yeah.
So she
is a child.
She is a small child. So she gets distracted by a kitty cat, and she goes wandering out to follow him, and eventually gets cornered by said kitty cat, who's like, hey, you look pretty tasty. You smell pretty tasty. Pretty tasty. And then the golem shows up.
It's like, hey, you got a problem with my daughter?
We got a problem here. And the kitty's like, nope.
Yep, because golems are very big and strong.
Golems are big, strong, and terrifying. It turns out they also have an eye that can analyze the composition of anything, I guess. And he uses that to basically strong-arm a dealer into getting him better rates for his gimps.
And it's just a cute show.
Yeah, it's cutesy. You get to watch this weird father-daughter dynamic with an emotionless robot and a human.
And I'm really glad that he's not a human, so we can't go any, wrong routes with the father-daughter thing.
Exactly.
It can't turn into, if it's for my daughter, I'd even defeat a demon lord.
We can't do...
He is a machine.
Exactly. And I'm glad that we are in this state. This is the kind of thing we wanted from that show, but we knew it was going to turn. And we didn't want that.
Show by Rock, Mashu Myresh.
I'm never going to attempt that last word. It will always be Show by Rock for me.
So this is kind of like, this is a pad the list one, but it was all right.
Yeah. It's a show about a kitsune girl who likes music and goes to the big city to do music.
Yeah, and I did like the bit where essentially she lives in the small town and some small snowy village, which actually looked pretty cozy.
Yeah, it did.
And all of the girls who are in the band are like regular sized, whereas all of the townsfolk and people are like little
everyone
chibi
else
animal forms.
Literally everyone is chibis.
And when they go into the music part, they become chibis.
Yes.
Which I think that might be their default form, and then they switch into the...
Yeah. It makes it real easy to spot who the main characters are going to be.
Yeah.
They're all the cute animal girls.
Yeah. So she ends up... she auditioned for a singing competition.
And she gets in. Yay!
And they're all sitting there, and she's in the living room telling her parents that she's going to be going off doing this, and they're like, "Oh, your grandpa will be really happy about that. I know he's watching from heaven." And then the door opens, and he's like, "I'm still alive!
I'm still here!" And naturally, her mom is calling someone.
Yeah, it turns out she calls the town, and the whole town plays telephone with it, and they think she's going to space.
Yeah, it goes from a music audition to being on TV to winning an award to winning a movie award for a movie she's in to going to space. So everyone shows up to see her off, and everyone's like, yay!
And then she gets on the train to go into the city, and she sees her dad's waving a big flag on top of a mountain for her. Her dad's like a real, like...
Because her dad's a real tough man who stormed off to not show his emotions earlier, and then comes back to wave a goodbye flag for her on a mountain. Yeah. Like a real tough man.
Funny little bits like that. And then we meet the rest of the girls who are in a band together, and the big, like... Big, puffy-haired blonde girl is like, I don't know why I need to be in a band. I prefer being a solo artist.
I think she's like supposed to be like a jaguar or a panther or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's the most, fucking teal-haired girl is the most ambiguous.
She's like a devil or something.
That's
not an animal.
No, she's got like cow ears and demon horns. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and then one's a cat.
And now, one is a wolf.
She's a wolf. Oh, right, she's a wolf. I forgot. Howl at the Moon thing.
She's very proud of that.
Yeah.
But basically, a panther girl wants to be on her own, and then she's like, "Uncle, why'd I have to form a band with these guys? They're okay, but I could do much better by myself." And her uncle's just like, "It would be fucking crazy if you did that."
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
I'd said it because it'd be crazy. Don't you want to do stuff that's crazy?
And our main character actually loses her audition slip, and she's all sad about that. And they're like, "Man," and obviously these girls find it. And they're like, "How do we find that person?" And the wolf girl's like, "Did anyone lose an audition ticket to compete in this competition?" And they're like, "You don't just shout that.
We can't do that. People will just come forward and grab it. That's a dumb idea."
And they're like, "Well, what do we do?" And it's like, what if we just play a street performance?
What if we played a street performance? Because
they'll get drawn to the music.
This show is Elite Beat Agents, where even the city looks like something out of Elite Beat Agents.
Yep.
And now they're going to fix their problems with song.
So they just start playing music, and of course she actually does show up, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to play with us?"
She's the only one there, too. She goes up and, like, kneels down, and she's the only one who went to go watch him.
And she's, like, super into it that they're like, "How about you just join us?
You want to sing?" And she's like, "Do I?" And
then I'm pretty sure she's going to they're going to give her back her thing next episode, and then she's going to be like, "Nah, I want to join a band instead."
Yeah, guys, let's all do the show together. And they're going to be like, okay.
But yeah, it was cutesy bullshit.
It's comfy. It's got some goofy bits.
Speaking of goofy bits, Senton Academy.
A show that will be extensively nothing but. I almost said spooky bits. Cutesy bits.
Probably not completely cutesy. Probably some, like, etchy bitch.
Yeah.
Etchy bits.
Yeah, lots.
Like the part with the bears.
The bears was actually pretty funny.
The zebra.
Yes.
So this guy goes to a school full of animals.
If you've watched the show...
My gym partner's a monkey.
Yeah. He is the Adam Lion role. He is the only human in a school of animals, and he hates it.
Essentially, my gym partner is a wolf.
Yeah.
And he goes to this school, and he hates all the animals.
He fucking hates animals.
And he's like, "I fucking hate animals." And I'm like, "Hey, I don't really like animals that much either."
I'm like, dude,
I like cats, that's it.
You can't hate all the animals, but apparently this dude just really hates every animal.
And he's there, and there's only him and one other human, and humans are considered, I guess, animals in this world, because, it's like, this character, the narrator is explaining, he is of the Homo sapiens.
Yeah, because they're technically right, but whatever, fuck technicalities. So he goes to lunch, and he tries to sit by himself, but naturally he sits at the table with the annoying wolf girl.
Yeah, because funny enough, this guy doesn't like animals, but he knows a shit ton about them and how to deal with them.
He knows everything about them, which, you know what? You gotta know your enemy.
Yeah, because the wolf girl starts getting mad that he's sitting in front of her, and he's like, "All right, most important thing, don't make eye contact with an animal while it's eating.
Don't make eye contact.
But don't back away.
Don't run away. Just give it food and everything will be fine. So he does that, and then everything is fine. And then the human girl shows up, I think. I think that's what happens.
Yeah, because the wolf girl's like, hey, you should join my pack.
And he's like, no, that's stupid.
He's like, also, like, because the human girl shows up and she gets scared off by the wolf girl. She's like, hey, I've already found this human first. He's in my pack.
I've claimed this one to be mine.
And then after, she's like, oh, okay, I guess I was interrupting by. And he's like, he gets real pissed off, and he's like, listen, you're a wolf, I'm a human. We should stick to our own kind, be in our own pack.
And surprisingly enough, I guess there just are no other wolves in this high school.
Yeah, so she gets really set. So she joins the zebra's pack.
And that doesn't go well.
Because she's basically having her, like, walk around on, like, all fours. And she's, like, demeaning her.
She uses her as a pack mule.
Yeah. And so she's, like, the oh ho 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 type.
Ho, ho, ho.
And then after, she's like, yes, I am a zebra. I am a noble mare. And she's like,
I am the rarest and most fanciful of all the horses.
And as she's walking away, the main character, because he knows all about animals, he's like, actually, zebras are donkeys. And just immediately, just something breaks in her mind. She runs back up and she's like, no, that's not true at all. We're horses, not donkeys. And he's like, no, I can show you. And he lifts her up, pulls up her skirt, and shows everyone her tail, which is that of a donkey.
It is that of a donkey. And everyone's like, whoa!
And then there's these two donkeys to the side just kind of like, hey. They're like playing Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, they're the two nerdy, just creepy donkeys. And the horses are like, hey, that's fine. We don't care. You can still hang out with us. It doesn't matter to us.
But she's the one that's the most bothered by it.
Yeah, and she storms off. I hate you forever because you're the main character and I have a grudge against you now. Bye.
And he helped the wolf girl, but he still doesn't want to be in a pack with her.
Because fuck that.
And he's now just out by himself, and he sees...
He's hanging out with Human Girl.
Yeah.
He tries to get into Human Girl's pants because she's cute.
Yeah. And he's like, this is the high school experience I wanted.
Nah, just me and one other girl.
The only two people.
In the whole high school. Our teacher is a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Because he is.
But then all of a sudden, he notices some bears start showing up, trying to, like, pick on the wolf girl and the human girl.
Because because grizzly bears are assholes, apparently.
Yeah.
So they just show up and are just assholes.
Because I don't think he's there at the time, because they're just picking on the two girls, because the girls try to be friends with each other.
Yeah, she shows up later.
Yeah, but then he shows up as the bears start getting all, like, for some reason start fondling the human girl.
Yeah, they get real rapey about it, and he's like, ha, stop that, foul grizzly bears.
And he sprays them with bear mace.
It works.
Yeah, but then they just wash it off in the fountain nearby.
That bear mace didn't work very well. Yeah, we just washed it off right over there.
And then they're about to kick his ass, but then the wolf girl basically jumps to his aid. Gotta be like his, like, you know, his, like, loyal dog.
Yeah, and then they kick her ass because she's not very strong.
And both of them get their asses kicked until T-Rex teacher shows up.
Because
he's like, you guys want to go extinct?
He, like, picks up one of the students in his mouth and just waves him around a bit and is like, you two want some too. Because it turns out Human Girl used her most important tool, her mind, and the teacher who's a literal T-Rex. Like a literal... Yeah. And I don't mean scaled down to, like,
he's
normal
a full-size T-Rex with a suit, or like a collared shirt, a tie, and some khakis.
He is an actual-ass T-Rex. I don't know how... What does he teach? Where does he teach?
I'm pretty sure he probably just stands outside and looks in the window at him.
He puts his head in the window. All right, guys, we're going to talk about this today. But then Wolf Girl is like, will you finally join my pack? And the guy... He breaks down because he has to. And she jumps on him and starts licking his face and kissing him because that's what wolves do.
Yeah, because, again, so she starts licking him on the mouth.
And then she does it to the girl, too, because she is also a new member of the pack because that's what wolves do.
Because that's how they show submissiveness to the alpha.
And to welcome new members into their pack.
Yeah.
So that
it's a weird show, but it's kind of neat.
It was very strange.
I enjoyed watching it. I was like,
It is a weird show.
I also like the fact that he doesn't like animals, but he uses his knowledge of animals against them.
Yeah, he hates the shit out of animals.
Because we find out why he hates them. He got, like, beat up by some bears as a kid.
Oh, The wolf girl at one point talks about how she loves humans because once a human came to defend her against bears when she was a kid.
Yeah, because she wants to build a pack that's not just
wolves.
Which we're probably going to see new people show up in that.
Yeah.
New animals.
He is like, shit, that was me as a kid.
Yeah,
and she's
like,
misremembering because those bears kicked the shit out of me as a child, and that's why I hate animals now. All she did was come over and lick my wounds, and that didn't help anything.
Yeah. I thought that was actually pretty funny.
I did like that a lot. And I'm pretty sure it was probably the same bears, too, that kicked the shit out of him as a child. But now, on to our final show that we've already talked about.
Inspector. It's not the final show, though. We got another one
It's
after.
the second to last one. But it's the last one that we've already talked about previously. So, basically, this girl has been abducted by freaking forest
yokai
spirits. And they were like, hey, be our goddess of wisdom.
Yeah, this girl, when she was a child, got abducted by yokai, and they asked her to be their goddess.
And she said yes, because how else do you respond to that question?
And she had one of her eyes taken and one of her legs.
Yeah, I think it's the right leg and left eye?
Reverse, I think.
I know it's the opposites. But
I think it was the left eye, right leg.
But they took her bits, and then they put her back in the park very politely.
What eye does Odin not have? Because I think it's the same one as him.
I think it is. I
think it's the right eye.
I think it is his right eye.
Yeah. You sacrifice an eye, you get wisdom. That's for some reason a thing in various mythologies.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck it, it's fine.
Yeah, and she hangs out at this hospital to do routine checkups, and she sees a guy there that she's instantly infatuated with.
Yeah, because he's a good-looking guy.
But then she finds out from the staff that he has a girlfriend. And
his girlfriend is kind of a bitch to him. So she spends a lot of time keeping tabs on this dude.
Yeah, she basically spends a lot of time keeping gossip with, the staff and stuff, because it turns out he's there to visit his cousin.
Yeah, because his cousin's in the hospital because she's sick or something? I can't remember.
Because I read the manga for this, she's a big part later.
Okay. So for personal MacGuffin reasons.
Yeah.
And then his girlfriend breaks up with him because of a chance encounter with another yokai one day.
Because she ends up sitting with him and asking him about what happened. And turns out he ran into a kappa one night while he was out with his girlfriend.
They were just walking around. They see a kappa.
And the kappa was terrified of him.
Yes, it called him a monster. And naturally, that caused her to wonder, why is the monster afraid of you? That must mean you're pretty scary.
Yeah, and it turns out he explains it to her because all of her yokai that follow her around are like, my lady, that thing is dangerous. And she's like, yeah, but he's just so hot.
She has one that's an old samurai who was killed in battle, and I love him. He's great. He just is super terrifying all the time, and just because he's a brutalized, I think he's cut in half or something.
Part of his head was cut off.
Yeah. But they're all like, listen, you got to get away from that monster. He's dangerous.
And he explains his story that he, as a child, consumed yokai meat.
His family forced him to consume the meat of a mermaid.
Which makes him immortal.
Because she takes him...
Because she notices something weird about him where he almost fell down one day at the hospital, and she actually, went behind him to keep him from falling, but he made, no real effort to stop himself from falling, which she's like, yeah, in hindsight, that's pretty weird.
Yeah, that's...
You were just like...
Yeah, whatever, I'll just fall now.
You have no, self-preservation, instincts.
Turns out he doesn't need it, because he just instantly... well, not instantly, but he very quickly regenerates.
Because they hear about from one of her yokai that there's a monster going crazy, and they have to go and stop it, and so he goes with her, and it's... Even though she's missing a leg, she's still pretty spry. Yeah. She, jumps and, hits it with her cane. And
that doesn't do much.
And then it's about to get them, so he stands in the way, and she's like, wait. She's like, it's going to attack you. And he's like, that's fine. And it goes and...
Don't worry, that's fine.
And it goes and bites off his arm, and the whole thing melts.
Yeah. My flesh is poison to yokai.
Yeah.
Oh. So, honestly, I can't remember.
That's kind of where it ends.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Because it's weird, because I have knowledge of the next episode, but I don't want to dip into the next episode.
Because the premiere we were at showed the first 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's essentially a mystery series with a guy who basically can be the physical barrier while she does the mind stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like, he can take all the abuse and the hits.
And I love their dynamic together because she is just a shitter. Just an absolute shitter.
Yeah. She basically, she can be kind of like, I don't know, with like women and stuff like Caddy, like the girlfriend, which we'll see later on.
Yeah. But we'll get there. But now we'll get to, oh God. This one's a light novel. I hate getting hurt, so I put all my skill points into defense. If you couldn't tell that was totally a light novel cover title.
Yeah, because, every light novel has to have at least 2 sentences be the title.
Yes, shorthand is going to be Shield Girl for this series.
Yeah, we're calling this The Rising of the Shield Girl.
Because, just the same thing. Yeah.
We got 2 shielders this season. 2 big shield girls. We got Mashu and this girl.
Yeah, that's true.
Her character name is Maple.
Yeah, because her name is Maple or Tree or something in Japanese.
Yeah.
But basically, her friend is like, hey, you should buy this cool VR game.
I can't play it right now, though, because it's test season, so,
I gotta do the tests.
My mom's making me do tests and study for that, so I can play after that's over.
Yeah. So, she plays by herself.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, what should I take? I don't like getting hit, so I'll take the shield, because it's got good defense. And I don't know what to do with my points, though.
Well, I picked the shield, so I don't want to get hurt, so let me just pump everything into defense.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll just pump up defense a whole lot. And then she goes into the world, and she is slow as fuck.
Yeah, because she put nothing into agility.
She put nothing into agility, strength, intelligence, and whatever the last stat is.
Yeah. So she ends up playing by herself, and she asks someone where to find monsters. So she goes out, and she lets a monster beat on her, like a low-level monster, for like 2 hours.
Yeah, she can't really attack very well.
Yeah, and her defense stat just keeps going up.
Her defense is so steadfast that she lets this monster beat its head against her until it dies. And that's how she fights.
And then she ends up getting attacked by some more monsters, and she actually gets attacked by this bee thing that gives her poison resistance.
It shoots poison at her, and she's like, I can't defend against poison. But then she sees that she starts getting a poison resistance skill. So she lets it spit on her.
And then she falls asleep outside while monsters attack her.
So she gets
a shit ton of, defense boost.
She gets a big defense boost, and she gets an ability that regenerates her HP super fast, as long as she's not moving.
Basically, this is a poorly designed MMO where just, one thing attacks you, and then, boom, you're resistant to it now.
Hey, you've gained some new resistance. That's pretty cool, right?
Because when she goes up against the poison thing later, and you're like, why doesn't everyone do that? Why isn't that not, a spreadsheet online for how to, min-max?
Yeah, why doesn't everyone just do that?
It's like, all right, I'm a level 1 character. I'm just going to let some low-level mobs beat on me for a little bit until my stats raise.
Yeah, until my stats get super high and I get some real useful abilities. Whatever, it'll be fine.
Also, that's just how do you get poison resistant? Just get poisoned a ton. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to go hang out in the fire area and just keep, getting burnt so I'm fire resistant.
I'm going to go sit down in pools of lava.
So, because she doesn't just get poison resistance, she gets poison immunity. Think about it, she's a low-level character that gets immune to poison for the rest of the game.
Yes.
This is a badly designed MMO.
But
it's still fun to watch.
She fights the stuff, she pats it away after...
So she starts getting, doing pretty well, and then she logs on again by herself, and she
wants better equipment.
She sees some dude who also has the Great Shield, but he has way better armor, so she's like, hey, how do I get cool stuff like that? And he's like, oh, well, I had, a craftsman make it for me.
I can take it to him. It'll be good to make the contact. And she's like, cool. And I'm like, people are very fucking nice in this MMO world.
Yeah, this dude who looks like Klein from, Sword Art Online
is super nice. The girl she talks to at the first episode, or the first half, is like,
yeah, no one goes
I'll just show you wherever.
No one's like, fuck off, noob.
Yeah. No one told this girl to fuck off a single time. What the hell? This isn't an MMO.
Must be only a Japanese player base.
Yeah.
So She meets the girl who basically just only does profession work.
I will be your craftsman.
I'm one of those people. I don't go out and level. I just stay and do profession stuff.
LF craftsman iron shield.
Yep, so she doesn't have enough money for her to craft anything for her, but she hears about a dungeon that's nearby that might have, like, you know, some good loot in it.
She's like, hey, do you guys know where I can go to get some good money and loot? And they're like, yeah, you know, there's a dungeon up in the mountains, the Poison Dragon's Cave.
But you might need some other people for that.
Yeah, and then she walks away, and they're both like...
She's not going to go there by herself, right? Nah,
that'd be stupid.
And she does.
She does.
She goes through the whole dungeon. She learns Shield Bash because she just falls on slimes with her shield.
She just falls on monsters with her shield, and that's how she fights.
And then she sees the Poison Dragon, and she's like... all right, I can do this, and then the poison's way stronger than what she's resistant to.
So she starts popping those It melts her sword and shield.
Yeah, it melts her gear, so she starts drinking the potions every time her health goes down, and her poison resistance keeps going up, because that's how this works.
And she's like, hey...
one fight, and you're immune.
She's like, hey, if I sit here and just grind poison resistance against this Hydra, it's got to get to the immunity stage eventually.
And she does. But then she has no weapon, so how does she damage it?
She eats it.
Yeah.
She fucking eats a Hydra.
I don't know who designed this game where they were like, all right, what do players do if their weapons break? They eat it. They can eat the monster.
They can use whatever natural weapons they have at their disposal.
Like their fists? No. Their teeth.
Their sharp canines.
So yes, she eats the Hydra.
And she gets a bunch of abilities. One of them being Hydra Eater.
Yeah, so now she actually can do poison damage.
She has poison magic, but no intelligence, which I'm assuming is the stat for magic.
Yeah.
So her strat from now on is going to be, I'm going to poison them and then sit there and let them beat on me.
And she gets a new thing of armor and a brand new shield.
She gets some legendary-ass, one-of-a-kind, unique equipment. Because, of course, she does.
Man, this is a pretty good low-level dungeon.
She gets a lot of stuff that, like, multiplies her defense. Because from the B, she gets a ring that I think doubles her defense.
Yeah, she has a perfect min-max build.
Yeah, and the armor, I think, multiplies her defense by, like, 3 or 4 times, too. So...
and I think it heals after a certain, like, time. Like, it just heals, like, 10... There was one, like, she got a ring or something that heals, like, 10% of her health. After a certain... that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. And it didn't say there was a cooldown on it. It just does it after a certain period of time. So that's just going on forever. So this character is busted. This game is poorly designed. And I'm looking forward to watching more of the show.
Exactly.
And if you want to watch more of our show, then click these, if you're watching on YouTube, that is, click that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up to let us know if you like the video, leave a comment on our videos if you have anything.
Yeah, we love comments.
We do. Give us contacts and comments and all that fun stuff.
Or you can check us out on social media to find out all the times when we upload at Protagonist Seat on Twitter and Facebook, respectively.
And we are also distributed on, you might be listening on one of these platforms, but we are distributed on platforms where podcasts are sold. You've got the iTunes, you've got your Google Play Music, you've got your Spotify. If you're across the pond, you've got the Deezer. And we also have our Libsyn podcast page, our Liberated Syndication page.
Yeah, but we're looking forward to watching more of these shows because so far I'm hyped for everything. I'm enjoying everything.
I thought this season was going to be a lot rougher than it actually is.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's a pleasant surprise.
I'm looking forward to more Darwin's Game, looking forward to more Shield Girl.
I never expected myself to be so down with a death game anime.
Yeah, this is our new junk food.
Yeah, it is our cheesy poofs.
So join us next week for more cheesy poofs. Welcome to the new season. Welcome to the show if this is your first time, and we hope you stick around.
Exactly. See you around, kiddos.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.